Thank you everyone for gathering here for this very solemn occasion where we shelve and put away Idiot. If You Die, It's Your Own Fault, my YA romantasy novel, and kind of like go behind some of the reasons behind why I'm shelving it today and things like that. So this story is like something that I've been working on since grade 10, and I finished writing it when I was 19, and this makes the story that I've been working on for 11 years, and like pretty heavily, like this has been my main project like since I started writing. So that's like then 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6 years of just like straight editing it to try and get that to work for me. It just kind of hasn't, which is very unfortunate. And I'm very much, this is the new folder for Idiot, and this one has like notes to myself of like that way when I come back to it, I have like these little notes being like, this is done, this is something that needs to be done, this is edits a friend's given me that I'm not even gonna get to right now, but that future me shall hopefully get to. One of the massive things that has like been so incredible for this story is that I got a really incredible rejection letter. Two really incredible rejection letters. One from an agent. I think it's okay if I say like their name, like Samuel Bernard from Zeitgeist Agency. He was so wonderful. I queried him at GenreCon last year, so in 2025, and I finally got him like the full manuscript that I've been promising for a year. I just wanted to get like even more edits done on it, and I thought those were the final edits, but they weren't. And he got back to me with like this, like it's like 2 pages of notes on the story, like a really like just like detailed and like wonderful feedback that's really gonna help me going forward with those things. And basically the massive and huge thing is that he said that I was talented and that I'm obviously a good writer, which is massive, and that he does really want to see future work from me. And that was essentially the same from a publisher of Pan Macmillan Australia. They were like, this story is great, there's like lots of banter between Spike and Phaedra, there's like all these wonderful elements that, you know, we love, like the characters, and like even having the grumpy sunshine trope, and the girl's the grumpy one and the guy's the sunshine, but it's just, it's not quite there yet. But they were like, we want to keep the door open for you, you're a talented writer. And that's been the huge thing. Like we want to see, both of them are like, we want to see more work from you, which has been the huge thing where I'm like, I think I need to put this away for a moment and focus on that other work to give them. Especially with the next story being this very like Australian cozy mystery-esque like crime thriller. I think both like Samuel Bernard and this publisher, even if it doesn't get to them, like, and they don't want it, I have those avenues for me to like give it to those people, and like best case scenario, that's what I go with, and that's amazing, and that would be incredible to like get me through the door, because there's heaps of people who talk about this, like I even got it out. So Shan Lu had, this was the first novel he published, but this was the first novel he wrote, and then he ended up shelving this one, and this one has won so many awards. Like there should be like this whole page should be covered in stickers. I think the big one was that it was the Miles Franklin winner, right? I'll put up on the screen what it is. I'm pretty sure it's the Miles Franklin that he won, and like that's like the biggest, you know, like award a writer can get. And that's from the very first book that he started writing but ended up shelving. And that's also a huge encouragement. Like I've been reading so much more about how like a writer's first book is never the one that usually ends up getting published. And I kept on thinking that I would be the exception to that rule, because I've written this book like 10 times over now. Like I've done so much editing on it, but it's not. I'm not, it's, I think I'm gonna have to rewrite the whole story again from basically the beginning, and then compare and do a lot of work on it, and I think I need to step back a bit from it to be able to see the flaws more easily, because I'm still like far too in the text. So, and then this is the old copy. Oh, this is my old folder. For If You Die, It's Your Own Fault. And it's got like all the drawings that are in my story, because I've done so much art for this book as well. Like, there's so much art for it, and I love it. Like, these ones are actually in the book. Some of them are for next book too. One of them is. And there's just like so many. This is one that I've never shown anyone before. This is Artemis. That's like a very, very old drawing. Danny, can you see that? Hopefully. So funny. And then I did like all of these like character profiles and put them through put them through like the Harry Potter quizzes and like all this kind of stuff. Spike, if you can see them. Like, I did just like all this art, all these different things. Like, I had a look at some different text. I had a look at some different like other things. Like, this is the very first, when I was 19, I had this massive big cardboard board, and I put all of these like those palm cards stuck to it of like the chapters and what that chapter was going to be about, and I like cut it all out to save it. But that was pretty fun. I had like just this big board of all of my chapters, and then that was a very first iteration of the map. That was that first page that I showed you, the map on the solar system. And this is me trying to understand the solar system, which was incredibly difficult. It was actually really, really hard. I don't know why it took so long. It was because I was trying to figure out like how the solar system would affect the calendar, and now I'm even thinking about taking the calendar out, which makes me want to cry, because that took so much of my life to be able to really understand how the planets were moving and how that like affect the earth, and just different things, because there's two suns as well, and there's a moon made of ice, and just all this really fun stuff, you know. And then I've got different chapter things. I've got like, this is another one. Like, this book was really, really influential in how I go about my writing, and the little tips and tricks that I found throughout that really helped me. Like, having chapters and then having like just a bit of a blurb about each chapter, like that really works for me. I do my little like climax, resolution, little, you know, up, down, and then from that I create all my chapters, and then from that I usually do like what I just showed you there, of like when I'm stuck on a scene, or I'm stuck on, this is more to do with pacing. So I've got like, the blue ones mean sad, the pink ones mean romantic, the green ones mean like it's fast, and the yellow means like it's slow. So like, how does the slow moments interact with the fast moments, and is there enough like sad and romantic, like balancing each other out kind of thing. It's all a lot. This was like originally like different editors I've got in there, because I did like a better reading like website as well. Like, I was traveling around America when I first started this story, and so a lot of it is influenced by my travels in America, which was really, really fun. And like going to Mexico and seeing all the Mariposa butterflies, and like just like all this really cool stuff. But I didn't have like the access to better readers that I had once I got to uni. And so there was like, just like online, there was like a sort of platform, I think it was like Critique Match, and I found like a lot of people through there. I don't think that helped me very much, because a lot of people, when you start writing, a lot of people have egos, and when you end writing, a lot of people have egos, and then there's this bit in the middle where you're aware that you're horrible. I'm at that bit. But when you start writing, lots of people think they know how to write. They think they've written books before. They think they've got all of this skill behind them, when they don't. Like, I even came into writing like quite cocky, being like, well, I finished a book. Like, I have some idea of how to like keep going. Like, I've written 130,000 words. Like, that does count for something. they were bad words, but it was like a start. And I wasn't too cocky, okay, please, but I still felt like I had a bit of backing behind me, where I had this skill that I kind of cultivated. And other people feel the exact same way, but they feel like, oh, but I could write those books better. Like I could do that. Like I'm here because I could just do that. But they haven't actually done it at all. And then they realize how hard it is to do it. And then at the end, when you're actually published, a lot of writers have a bit of a, I am so good. I don't know, I find them quite unapproachable sometimes. Some are great, like Shelving would be like, oh, what an absolute gem. And that is such like a literary like master writer, like so good, but just so kind, so wonderfully approachable, so happy to help you. And so many writers are like that. I just get really like uncomfortable because I find them really intimidating, but that's probably just me. But yeah, I think I move on to show you where this is gonna live and where this story is going to reside. So I have drawers here that are just full of writing stuff and art stuff, and at some point I want to do like a little, you know, like this is all my old art, which I think would be fun. I think that'd be funny actually. This one here, I could be wrong. Yeah, it's this one. My drawer of If You Die It's Your Own Fault stuff. And I've like been reading so many books. I got really complimented on my comp titles, and now when I get back to this, it's probably going to be too late to use them as comp titles, but that's fine. This, I think if it is what I think it is, yeah, it is. This is the very first copy, I believe, or one of the later ones. We'll find out. But this is a copy. Look at that. I used it for a bunch of my photos because there's like so much in it that it just makes it look really cool. And there's just like so many like colored points, and like it's just like the whole thing's just like highlighter. Oh, and coffee stains. Love that. This is another copy. This is a very original copy where it's like at that word count that it was. Like this is an A4 sheet of paper. It's not double-sided though, because that kind of annoyed me at one point. But that is so thick. Like that is a big book. I think this might be the original. Oh my god, it is. It is. This is the very first, like, please don't pause it and read it. Or you can if you want, but it's just gonna be awful. Like this isn't even edited by any standard properly. Like this is awful. Like I had two prologues at the very beginning when I was writing this. It started with that one, and then it went into, oh, see, look, I haven't even put page spaces. Like it's quite gorgeous. And I was going to tell Lunessa's perspective in a comic at one point, and like, look, it's not even, this is just to show you how far like we come as writers. Like it's not Times New Roman, it's not 12-point font, it's not double spaced, it's not like, it's not the classic like structuring of a book, which is what you need to get to look like you know what you're doing. This, I didn't know what I was doing, I will tell you that. I was editing it in Cuba. I printed it out for the first time. I loved that. This is like, oh, I used to have a song that Danny would sing, and I took it out. Oh, we last took shelter with no mouth filter. She sang with the notion, was very outspoken. Oh my gosh, I just found it. Wait. Oh, yours is so cute. I had like odd little like drawings of like the crowns and things, but this was how I used to tell who was speaking apart. So this little L was for Leah, actually. Phaedra's name was Cecilia, which is very Sarah J. Maas of me. But yeah, and Leah for short, that was going to be her name. And then there was Kit, obviously, and that's like a K though it's very hard to understand. And that was how I separated their perspectives. And as you can see, this is like that long for for a perspective change. Like, it was quite horrendous, and I didn't have anything, like, it just jumped straight in there. It didn't say, like, nowadays, what it is now is that I have chapters for each of these characters, and I have kids chapters, and I have Phaedra's chapters, and what you should be doing at the start of each chapter, which I don't do because I just have their name at the top, but what you should do, and mine is in first person as well, so I can't, but usually you do like, Kit walked over to the blah, Phaedra thought blah, and you start with like the character's name as well, so that way people are like actively reading whose perspective they're in. Hard to do with first person. That's what you should be doing. And there's like so much. I actually love this because it's horrendous. And there's no like proper, like I didn't even know how to do tabs. Like this I actually did tabs, which I'm shocked, but that's because it's speech. I didn't do it for anything else, I don't think. Like, it's crazy. You're supposed to like indent, you know, every chapter, and we'll have to go over formatting at one point. Like maybe I grab out the old version of this and we can like set it all up nice, if that's something you'd be interested in. I'd be interested in that. I think it's really important to know all this kind of stuff to show that you're not a novice. This is another version. It's like this for some reason. This isn't bad. This isn't too bad at all. This was me editing it for the millionth freaking time. This was me going through somebody else's edits and like obviously seeing all their edits and changing them, slash I just printed it out and forgot to take away an edit I had in the margin, which is always quite fun. So that's great. This was, I read, I submitted If You Die It's Your Own Fault to the Streeter event at GenreCon, which is where over lunch they select, it's like up to 8 stories from like 50 stories or 80 stories or something like that get submitted. And usually they get like when I did it, they had a professional audiobook narrator reading out stories, which was incredible. Like it was so cool. And this is like, she actually gave us like the copies of it because she put her own notes in it. And then there was like 4 people on the panel. There was like Trent Jameson, 3 other people that are really incredible, and like writers or work at the Queensland Writers Centre, like Sandra, and they're usually on the panel, and they give like their opinions, they give their advice, they like talk about like what is working well and what isn't working well. And then you'll see it in my GenreCon video that I did, that people have like little paddles that they put of like shred or red, and so it's like if it's bad and it deserves to be like shredded and you just start that again, like it needs that kind of work, you shred it. And if you think that like no, I'd read on from there, like that's like an interesting start and I'd continue reading the story, you go read. Last year there was only like 2 that were read, and I think, no, my year there was only 2 that were read. Last year none were like successfully read, like they were all shred. But mine got read. There was like, the majority of people were like, I'd read on from that, which was incredibly uplifting. So I can shelve now. It doesn't need to be shredded, thank God. But yeah, more edits. This is an old version too. This is kind of cool. This is an old folder version that I obviously had put out. This is when I had it like all, just like tried these ones to do it. I like, personally, which you can argue with me if you're ever, you know, you're printing out your story. I find 2 massive bulldog clips and making sure you number your pages. That's the biggest thing when printing it out. And then you just crack these open and it's like a book. You can store it pretty easily. You can open it up, you can take it out. I find that's the best way, especially when giving copies to people, because getting it like professionally put into a folder from Officeworks, or even doing this, like that's more money than like you actually need to be doing, I find. Here's, oh, this is like old copies. I think this is actually venomous villains. And then this is, I haven't seen this in such a long time. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm not holding it right. That's not the right reveal I want. Oh my gosh. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, it keeps going. Hey! Oh my gosh, this is actually wild. This is the old mood board that I had for If You Die It's Your Own Fault. So this side was more like the current If You Die It's Your Own Fault. You've got Spike, obviously that's the dragon. You've got Phaedra. You have, yeah, so that's all them. And then we have Kid. He's very animated, but he's very much this one. And Lunessa, there's that one there. And then this was gonna be more of like the spin-off, this over here. So this is more, I was gonna write about like their kids. And I might still do it. I still want to. Oh, there's Phaedra's eye and like plant dress and like all these different things. Like this was kind of cool too. I kind of saw this as like a male yarn, kind of like came from there. And it's just really fun. And this is the one daughter, the other daughter, and then they have a son as well, which is like this kind of son. Oh wait, can't see the son. Yeah, this would be like their kid. So it was really fun. This used to hang up in my home, in my bedroom, for like a million years. And it was up there. And then when I moved house, I put it away. And I haven't taken it out since. So that's kind of fun. But I still love it. It's still cute. I can't believe how far I thought like forward with it. And that like, oh yeah, this is going to be their kids and this is going to be the spin-off. Meanwhile, here I am, 11 years later, and still not finished. Like let me just, like this is all like the out of. Ay, ay, ay. But that's everything. I'm gonna make a little space. She is shelved. And then if you want to stick around and I shall read the query letter, you're more than welcome to. Even though that's probably going to change. The thing that gets me about query letters is that I'm awful at them. Like I'm really, really bad at writing a query. And most of the time you want to get an agent and that's going to be like more their job to like write the query. So I just want an agent to be able to help me with that little issue I have. I can probably copy this in a bit too. So I usually have the start, which I have like my email, my Instagram, my website, my phone number, and then I see a dear agent's name. I'm seeking representation for my YA romantasy novel with crossover appeal, which crossover appeal means that it could also appeal to an adult market or a new adult market, or sometimes it can also mean like middle grade, but usually crossover appeal means like adult. It would also appeal to like an adult audience slash, yeah, that's all. If You Die It's Your Own Fault, a multi-POV, which I keep forgetting to put in my stories, but I think is really important to say like that it is told from multiple perspectives, if that's what you're doing. Complete at 90,000 words. For a debut YA now, they want around 70,000 words. And I cut down If You Die It's Your Own Fault down a bit. I think it's now around 80,000 words. I still need to get rid of 10k, but that's an issue for future Joe. So I'm querying you because, and then if you've met them at a convention, if you've read more of their novels, if you have any kind of reason, if you saw them on manuscript wishlist and they had something that was like close to your story, you put that in there. This is something Samuel Bernard said and I'm like, maybe I'll put that in. But it's like darker, emotionally driven YA fantasy with romance, danger, and moral complexity that is just bubbling beneath the surface. And I love that. I was like, yes, thank you, you get my story. And then it's really important if it is multi-POV, and I hate this, but it is important that you put like each, like paragraphs from each perspective be I don't know, queries are really hard. That's why I want an agent, that way they can help me write that, and then I don't have to be as responsible for queries as much. I also find that when writing your stories, for me, I wrote If You Die It's Your Own Fault, and it was originally called Following Faye and all this other stuff, and Following Faye had already been taken and it wasn't a great name, and I came up with If You Die It's Your Own Fault a lot later, like midway into the writing process, and that doesn't work for me. I find that the best way to go about things is to figure out what your title is first, to write a really rough query letter, like it's not going to be the end query letter, but something that's there that you kind of like write to in a way, not quite, but that's like really helps you see like what is the market appeal of my story. And because when you're starting with that initial story idea, you have really clear in your head like what themes you're gonna follow, what tropes, what's gonna be like the main like inciting incident, and from that you can write a really good like one line elevator pitch, you know, little thing. But once you've spent 11 plus years expanding those ideas, it's really hard to then put them back into the box and like go back down to one page, because it's 130,000 words. Like it's really hard. And so I find query letter, title first. When you start a story, check it against other names, do all your like research to like see what's like, start thinking about comp titles. That's also really important. So yeah, that's what Izzy and I are doing currently now with our co-writing story. We've come up with a rough query letter, we've gone through some titles and just agreed on a title together. We believe it's going to be Fractal Heart, or The Fractal Heart, which is very exciting. So we've got that done, we're coming up with like log lines, we're passing it back and forth. So yeah, so that's very exciting, and I definitely recommend doing that. And now enough procrastinating, I should read my story. So Phaedra is a 21-year-old siren and the embodiment of trust issues. She is resigned to wearing the disguise of people's greatest fantasies. When she meets the charming Kit, who is all smiles and has no survival instincts, it's fear at first sight. Kit's only goal is to find his missing mother. When he sees through Phaedra's siren illusion, she takes him to a whole new world to discover his lineage as a seer. He doesn't expect to be aided by a sassy dragon, a talking toad, or a wannabe assassin, but neither did he expect to fall for a siren. When Phaedra is kidnapped, Kit must decide how far he is willing to go. Will he marry a princess for her army and go down to the 3rd level of hell to rescue Phaedra, or will he go home? But he must figure out who's lying, who's dying, and why everyone keeps warning him, if you die, it's your own fault. So that's the two perspectives there. It's very much the start of the story kind of thing, but it does give some details going through. Bit of the found family style, things like that. And I don't think it's great. I did put a note at the end that like I feel like I could do a little bit more for the world, and something about the dangers, a corrupt kingdom, warrior princess, like there could be so much more that I put in. And this is honestly the thing that I have written so many times. Like the first chapter of the book and this query letter have gone through so many iterations, it isn't even funny. Like it's actually really crazy. And so then I go on to say that If You Die It's Your Own Fault is a Grumpy X Sunshine standalone novel with duology and spin-off potential, because standalones is all publishers are really willing to invest in usually, unless you have like a bit of backing behind you. So I said perfect for fans of In the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy, which is so good. Oh, I really think the book is quite like this one. Like I really love this story. Look how gorgeous that cover is too. I want this cover. Like all the other siren books, I have to say, meh. This is so stunning, and it's such a good book. Like I had such a good time reading it, and I was desperate to try and find like siren-esque storyline that didn't follow any kind of Little Mermaid storyline, like reinvention, like is its own kind of thing. And this was definitely it. This is like the perfect comp title for my book. So I have to make sure that I get back to this before this goes out of being a competitive title. Usually they say about 5 years. This was perfect for right now because it released last year when I was querying the story, showing that there's a demand for it. There's like, this is in style, this is done really well, like this is such a cool story, and it's a debut author as well, which was perfect. Oh, this was such a brilliant comp title when I found it, because I've just been going through like a million siren books. Like let me these were kind of what I was thinking of as comp titles a bit. So this one, no mermaids, but Ever Blessed is very like new adult. It's by an Australian debut author. It's also represented by Samuel Bernard. It went to auction. Like that's so cool. That one's really cool. Really recommend. Not siren, but it's good. This one is also Australian, but it's very like just Australian literary. It's not actually fantastical. Not too much anyway. This one I'm still reading, but it's self-published, and I didn't quite realize that until I bought it, and then I was like, oh, and it reads very self-published, but I'm not necessarily against that. And this could definitely be something that, like, if nobody takes this book like traditionally, I will self-publish it. No one will read it, but I will have done that and it will be out there. So this is quite like, you know, sort of inspirational for that. This I haven't read yet, but I saw it at the Blush Festival at Dendi Kooparoo, which was really fun. And it's Banshee, so that's quite like, but it's quite like siren and banshee. Like they're both very much around that like sound, and that like controlling of women through like their voices is very much like a similar theme, I would say, for this story. So I really want to read that, because that could end up being a competitive title. I don't know. I think it might also be self-publisher though, and I didn't realize that. No, 3 Lane Publishing Australia. No, it's not. So that's very good. It's very nice. I want to read that one. This is self-published. It's by a friend of mine, Neen Cohen. So keen to read this. So excited. It's beautiful. I do really like this cover too, and it's got like this really cool, I mean, I just found it. Yeah. Like how pretty is that? Like this is kind of the cool things in self-publishing that you can do. And I realized that somebody's also doing a thing where they put on the very edge of the books, they have like a photo, and then that makes a sprayed edge when you like have it on the side, and you can pay someone to do that for you, and that is so cool. So I might do that, who knows. This one was really cool. It has like a lot of like, it has sirens and gargoyles and all these different things. This was a really fun book. I don't think the themes are exactly the same. Like this was very like YA, they're in high school, whereas mine, like, they are a lot older. They're like 21, but it's like 4 people reading it in high school kind of thing. Like, I don't know, it's a tricky book in that sense as well, but this was really fun. And then Girl Serpent Thorn, this had very similar themes. This was a very original comp title of mine, and I think I don't have it in there anymore, but it was like, it's very much that like girls seen as like monsters. And then Truthwitch is just a really great story. I love it. The main, also other comp title that I do have in this one is Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. This is an Australian author. She's in Melbourne. She's very accomplished, but she's wonderful, and I really love this story. Like, it's really cool. Look how gorgeous that cover is once again. Like, I love these covers. Like, this is so, like, it's gorgeous. I love it. But yeah, so it's very much seeing that women as monsters kind of angle. And so then I had Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, The Mermaid, the Witch and the Sea by Maggie Tokedaho, sorry. C.S. Picat has agreed to blurb the novel when ready for publication. That was like back in 2023 that they said I could potentially do that at a Brisbane Writers Festival conference. So I don't know, but she said I could put it in my query letter, so I hope that's okay with him. We shall see. And then I've got the bit about me. which I might just end up cutting, or like we'll see what happens. I hope you're not shelving your story, but I also hope that, you know, you can come back to it and we'll write it together and you can get there, like eventually, like they'll see the light, right? Like they'll, like at some point we'll pull them back out and they'll be like ready to go once we have that bit more backing, once we have like, I really want If You Die It's Your Own Fault to go like international. So like hopefully maybe I can like break in the door through like Yellow Painted Walls into the Australian market, and then maybe the co-writing story, we can really go international with that. Like we'll see what happens, but I'll talk to you guys more about like my plans later. But If You Die It's Your Own Fault is officially shelved. So long.